Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, but also how we're going to fix it together. And that is the point of tonight's video. Now, what I'm about to show you is an exclusive article that was written for my company, my publication, my website, The Second Press. This is the type of content that we are putting out. This is what the overhead is building. This is how we're going to take the fight to the next level. Because this is one of the best explanations that one of my writers has come up with for why we are no compromise that I have ever seen. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below if you agree, because legitimately this is going to be 7 minutes which are going to help you explain this position going forward very clearly. And if you are new or you are a returning viewer, please consider hitting that like button, subscribing to the channel, and making sure you turn the notification bell on. We need as many people as we can to get into the fold so we can pass the blessing of the Second Amendment along to the next generation, because that is the entire point of this channel, the Second Press, and everything that we do together. And now, of course, this content is sponsored by The Second Press. The Second Press is my own company. It's something that we have built into the overhead of this channel because we are going to take the fight directly to the gun controllers by bringing content that has never been seen before. This is a perfect example of the quality content that we are putting out. There's a link right down there in the description box. We would love for every single one of you to join it and become a member of the website. It is completely free, but this is the stuff that you can spread out and turn the narrative in our favor. This is the point. This is the mission. Enough of the setup. Let me know what you guys think of this content. Let's get it. This article is called Why We Won't Compromise. It is no secret that the civilian disarmament complex has always had better marketing than the pro-gun opposition. Every push to clamp down on the right to self-defense is accompanied by a coordinated public relations campaign to drum up popular support for the new anti-gun measures. Everyone, from politicians to entertainers, take part, scrambling over each other to stump for the most extreme restrictions they can cook up, demonizing the other side, us, all the while. They talk a big game about fighting the gun lobby. They paint law-abiding gun owners as horrible racists, and they occasionally even threaten violence against the civilian population if they don't get what they want. After the new draconian bill goes before its respective legislative body and begins to face opposition, the gun grabbers recoil with affected righteous indignation that anyone would dare fight back against their schemes. Quote, "Why won't you just compromise?" comes the parting cry as they lick their wounds and slink back home to prepare for their next inevitable assault. Anti-gunners' calls for compromise are simply disingenuous attacks on the character of firearm-owning public. The anti-gun crowd are fond of such buzzwords. For decades, they've effectively steered the public discourse on gun control by manipulating the language used to discuss the issue itself, with the general public none the wiser. When any debate surrounding a topic is practically forced to use terms created or redefined by one side of that debate, those of us with contrasting views are left powerless to advocate for our cause. Their calls for compromise are no more than a coordinated, calculated effort to portray us as intransigent and themselves as generous negotiators who simply wish to reach an agreement. When we were all taught as kids to play nicely with the other children, the grown-ups made sure to instill in us an understanding of compromise. Without some compromise, progress is impossible. It is a very important concept. Each side of an argument gives something up so that both can arrive at a mutually beneficial resolution. One only needs basic critical thinking skills, then, to debunk the narrative that Second Amendment activists are extremists who refuse to compromise. When the gun control machine grinds to life, it never offers anything in exchange for its unrelenting destruction on the Second Amendment. It periodically produces a bill so extreme it has no chance to pass. Then, it offers to tone down some of the more egregious proposed infringements on our rights so as to pass the same thing in a more watered-down form. This is not compromise. Rights are still being lost. When a bill like that passes, the gun grabbers always gain ground and we always lose it. They are always more than happy to take away our rights, but they are loath to give them back. Of the dozen of federal and state gun laws passed in 2022, not one restores a part of the Second Amendment, except when forced to do so by the United States Supreme Court decision in New York State Rifle Pistol Association v. Bruen. The Bipartisan Safer Communities Act, widely hailed as the most significant piece of gun safety legislation in decades, was just another in a long series of compromise bills. Among its more notable provisions was the allocation of $750 million to support unjust and unconstitutional red flag laws, which by their very nature, violate some of the most basic and long-standing principles of this country's legal system. In exchange for such a perverse debasement of law and order, were the American people offered the slightest positive reform of existing firearm laws? Of course not. Make no mistake, this was hardly a compromise. Not even the most virulent anti-gun of the bill's supporters were forced to yield in any meaningful way to secure its passage. The Republicans in Congress did not sell away our civil liberties. They gave them up for free. The war over gun laws does not need to be this way. It is entirely possible that under different circumstances, more gun owners might be willing to give up some ground in exchange for key concessions. The current state of the Second Amendment and the ferocity of the opposition thereto, however, make that exceedingly unlikely. When prominent gun grabbers propose a purchasing permit system, they never offer up deregulation of NFA items. When they demand safe storage laws and waiting periods, they never yield on shall issue permitting and national reciprocity. When they try to ban magazines and track ammunition purchases, we never get any relaxation of import laws. More than 100 years of fake compromises have put us in a very compromising position, with absolutely no assurance that the assault on our rights will ever cease. It is only natural that, in the face of such aggressive opposition, we have been forced to become Second Amendment absolutionists. Recent history has proven that there is simply no other way forward. Freedom-loving Americans have watched power-hungry, egotistical thieves in Congress and every state legislature gradually dismantle the U.S. Constitution under the guise of public safety. For having the temerity to ask for anything in return for all that we have given up, though, we are branded as unreasonable. Those on the anti-gun side who would speak of compromise are either intellectually dishonest about their own goals and methods, or legitimately too deluded to escape the frame of reference constructed by their own propaganda. It is a technique bad faith actors use to shut down reasonable debate without having to engage with any substantive counterarguments of their own. In light of the above, then, the firearm community must soundly reject false compromise and instead demand the real thing. Every politician who pretends to support the Second Amendment but must be pressured to make good on that claim and offer up something, anything, in return for years of destructive policies. No further erosion of our rights will be tolerated, nor will the one-sided reform we are forced to endure. It is their turn to compromise. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you think that's as powerful as I think that it is, and if you like this format. Thank you so much, and I will see you on the next one. I'm Braden. See you later.